Good morning to all of you. Now in today's class we will design a Chebyshev filter. Chebyshev actually AR filter, it is an analog filter, and from that analog filter, using the bilinear transformation, we try to design the digital filter transfer function. Okay, now see, this is the problem. We have to see, design a Chebyshev low pass filter with the specifications alpha p 1 dB ripple in the pass band. Alpha p means, okay, first I will read the problem, then I will describe it. Design a Chebyshev low pass filter with the specifications alpha p is equal to 1 dB ripple in the pass band, 0 less than or equal to omega less than or equal to 0.2 pi, and alpha s is 15 dB ripple in the stop band from 0.3 pi to pi, omega from 0.3 pi to pi, using bilinear transformation method. Okay, so this bilinear transformation method is very important one. So it appears in the most of the times it appears in the university examinations. Okay, now we will see this. What is alpha p? Alpha p is the pass band attenuation, pass band ripple, which means pass band ripple means, already I told you in the yesterday's class. Suppose if it is a pass band from here to here, you may have some ripples like this. Okay, these are the pass band ripples. Okay, these variations in the magnitude response is the pass band ripple, and the frequencies are 0 to 0.2 pi. Okay, 0 to 0.25 means it is a low pass filter specification. 0 to 0.2, very near to, so 0, and alpha s is equal to 15 dB. Higher, see, alpha s 15 dB means it is a comparatively more than this alpha p. Okay, pass band ripple is 1 dB, stop band ripple is 15 dB. In the stop band we must have a very less magnitude. Okay, less magnitude. Pass band means we must have the magnitude of the filter large. And in the frequency range from 0.3 to pi. Okay, so next frequency range 0.3 to pi. Okay, these parameters we have to observe carefully. Actually, these are the design parameters are also. Okay, alpha p, alpha s, and that omega p and omega s. Okay, so therefore these are the frequencies, given frequencies, and this is the alpha p is the pass band ripple, alpha s is the stop band ripple. These four parameters are the designing parameters of this filter. Not only this, any type of Butterworth filter or Chebyshev filter. Now I have written them. Right? We will start the solution. Alpha p is equal to 1 dB, and this is the pass band edge frequency. Alpha omega p is the pass band edge frequency. Okay, this is pass band edge frequency. Okay, edge frequency here. Pass band edge frequency. This is the pass band edge frequency. Here this is the stop band edge frequency, like this. Okay, so up to this it passes the frequencies, and stop band means it stops the frequencies. Simple, right? So alpha s is the stop band ripple, and this is the omega s. Omega s is the stop band edge frequency. Okay, so therefore 0.2 is the pass band edge frequency, and 0.3 is the stop band edge frequency. You may have some doubt why 0.3 pi, can you take pi? So pi is not the thing, because see, the reason is see, this is the pass band edge frequency, therefore this is the ending frequency. 0 is this one, so therefore the omega p, but stop band immediately starts. This is omega s. It ends at pi. You must not take this. This is the end of the stop band frequency. This is the beginning of the stop band frequency. That is why generally most of the times, in general, we say omega s is the stop band edge frequency. Okay, so therefore pass band edge frequency, always you have to remember. You may get some confusion at some later point of time. So that is why. So this, whenever pass band is given, the last parameter in the pass band, ending parameter is of the pass band is the pass band edge frequency. Beginning frequency, you see 0.3 stop band, starting at 0.3, ending at pi. So therefore the beginning value you have to consider as a omega s. That's why 0.3 pi. Now, so before going to the actual design, so we must know what already we know the bilinear transformation. In the bilinear transformation, what happens is there is a problem or drawback of wrapping effect. Means high frequency signals or high frequency characteristics are so non-linearly represented in the digital domain. Okay, whenever if you have analog frequency, as you increase the frequency, analog frequency in the digital domain, what happens is these frequencies are non-linearly represented. Okay, that non-linear effect will be there, so that signal will be compressed. In the output, signal is compressed in the digital domain. So to avoid that wrapping, actually there is a wrapping effect. To avoid that wrapping effect, so we have to pre-wrap the frequencies. Okay, pre-wrap the frequencies. So therefore, these are the first we have to find out the analog frequencies. Omega p is the pass band edge frequency, and omega s is the stop band edge frequency in analog domain. Okay. Now another point here, time is 1 second. Time, we are assuming that time is not given. If time is not given in any problem, so simply you take it as a 1 second standard value. Now we calculate omega p. Omega p is the pass band edge frequency, analog filter frequency, 2 by t tan omega p by 2. So where t is 1 second and omega p is given, right? In the problem it is given omega p 0.2 pi, and if you simplify that you will get 0.65. And omega same, omega just in the place of omega s we substitute 0.3 pi. This is the stop band edge frequency, 0.3 pi by 2, 1.02 you will get. So therefore now we are available with omega p and omega s. Now, so calculating the order of the Chebyshev filter is somewhat different comparatively with analog Butterworth filter. So in the Butterworth filter we have seen, right, sine some under root, same thing we have seen it. But here you have a cos h inverse. Cos h inverse is there. So cos h inverse under root 10 power 0. Alpha s minus 1, where alpha is the stop band ripple and alpha p is the pass band ripple, divided by cos h omega p by omega s. Actually this is the requirement why we are doing this pre-wrapped frequencies. We are calculating pre-wrapped frequencies to find out the order of the filter. Now n, just we got n is equal, if you substitute this alpha s is equal to 15, and alpha 15 means 15 by 10 1.5. Here alpha p is 1. 0.1 into 1 means 0.1 only you will get. So therefore 10 power 1 by 1.5 minus 1 divided by 10 power 0.1 minus 1 if we take the under root, after that so hyperbolic function. If you do that, and also by substituting alpha p here, by substituting alpha p, that is 0.65, here 1.02. So if you simplify that you will get, so just you do that calculations, I am not doing here, just you substitute that and you will get the answer. 3.01 is the order. So just because it is just greater than 3.01, we will make it the next higher value, that is a 4. So you must not have any confusion with this order. Actually actual value you got some fraction 3.01, but we consider it as an integer. Okay, higher value, next higher value, that is 4. And already we have discussed, whenever we are discussing about Chebyshev filter theory, the poles of the Chebyshev filter lies in the ellipse. So ellipse, actually the shape of the Chebyshev filter, poles location located on the ellipse. Okay, now using means of, by taking that idea again, recollecting it. So we have to find out some parameters here. Epsilon and mu a b, epsilon mu a and b. So therefore this is 4.17. Now first we find out that epsilon is what? It is a parameter, means like a passband parameter, like that. So epsilon is equal to under root 0.1 alpha. You have to remember these formulas. Actually we need not to have a derivation for this. You have to remember the formulas. So epsilon is equal to under root 10 power 0.1 alpha p minus 1. That if you substitute this alpha p here, alpha p is a 0.65, and if you simplify that, you will get the this 0.508. In the same way, mu is equal to epsilon inverse. Already we have calculated epsilon. Epsilon inverse means 1 by 0.5 is approximately 2. You will get under root 1 plus epsilon square. Okay, that if you just substituting the values, calculating the mu parameter. Now see, already just now I told you the poles are located on the ellipse shape in the Chebyshev filter. Now there are formulas to calculate major axis and minor axis of the ellipse. So to calculate the major axis, A is equal to alpha p. So mu power 1 by n, where n is the order. Order just we have calculated 4. Mu power minus 1 by n divided by, that's all. That is the major axis. And you substitute this alpha p is 0.65 and n value is 4 and mu is a 4.17, and you will get this 0.237. In the same way, you can just only difference between A and B is, so this is minus here, you will get plus here. That is the only difference. So therefore 6918. Okay, if you substitute the mu n value, omega p value, you will get the, so B minor axis, like that. Now what we have to find out is, we have to find out the means angles of the poles, like that we have to see that. Now that formula to calculate the angles, pi k is equal to pi by 2 plus 2k minus 1 into pi divided by 2n. Okay, this is it. So because we have a n value 4, we take 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 angles you will get, because location of the poles are located are inside the ellipse. Okay, now we have a 4 angles. How to calculate this angle? By substituting k is equal to 1. So if you suppose k is equal to 1, what happens? Pi by 2 plus 2 in minus 1, 1 again. So this is n is 4. So therefore we substitute pi 1. How to calculate pi 1? Pi 1 is equal to pi by 2 plus 2 minus 1 divided by 2 into 4, 8 into pi. So this is equal to pi by 2 plus pi by 8. Pi by 2 plus pi by 8, and if you simplify that, you will get the answer. Okay, so like that you will get different angles, pi 2, pi 3, pi 4. So like that you will get different angles. Now using these angles, we are going to find out the location of the poles. Okay, 4 angles are there corresponding to each k value, and we find out the location of each pole. So to calculate the location of each pole, the formula is SK, S suffix k, which represents location, SK, A cos pi k plus, actually it is a real part and it is an imaginary part. So some A plus JB. So here cos pi k term is extra is there. A plus JB, where this A cos pi k is a real part, B cos pi k is the imaginary part. So this is the location of the pole. To calculate the location of the pole, this is the formula. Just A value is 0.237, B value is 0.6918. By substituting that, and also pi 1, pi 2, pi 3, pi 4. So every time you change k value, when k is 1, you will get the first pole location. When k is 2, you will get the second pole, third pole, and fourth pole, like this. Okay. So 4 pole locations are there. Now one thing what you have to observe is, you see these are complex conjugate. You observe the first S1 S4 minus 0.0907. This is a plus J, this is minus J. That is the only difference. Okay. In the same thing, in the same way, S2 and S3 they are complex conjugate. Okay. That is important observation you have to make here. So S1 S4 are complex conjugate, 2 poles, they are complex conjugate, and if you make the axis, See, minus real part is negative here, so therefore here somewhere one pole, and this is the S4 pole. S4 pole is located. See, real part is negative, imaginary part is also negative somewhere here. In the same way, so 0.2 minus 0.2 something like this. If you plot it exactly, the poles are located like this. All are negative real parts and one positive imaginary part, two positive imaginary parts, two negative imaginary parts. So therefore you will get the pole locations like this. 4 poles are located. All poles are located on the left hand side. Okay, left hand side. Otherwise inside the ellipse you can remember that. So therefore these are complex conjugate poles. Once after calculating the poles, location of the poles, now we have to find out the denominator polynomial. Okay, simply you see this s plus 0.907, this one, whole square plus 0.639 whole square. You take this and you take the square of that, means 1s plus s, because why you are getting s? S is, suppose if we have a pole s plus 2 is equal to 0, location of the pole we say that s is equal to minus 2. So because you are getting minus here, you will get plus. When you take it to the left hand side, you will get plus. So s plus 0.0907 whole square plus 0.639 whole square. And one pair you will get here. Another pair is, so s plus 0.2, this part, s plus 0.2189 plus 0.2647 whole square. Just so this is the format. Okay, we have two pairs of complex conjugate poles. Two pairs. First pair is these two. We are writing the, so that s plus 0, because it is a fourth order filter. Fourth order filter. If we expand, you will get the fourth order. So therefore, after how to write this is, you see the location of the poles. You take the real part s plus the real part whole square, and this imaginary part square. In the same way, remaining pair poles s plus 0.2189 whole square plus 0.2647 whole square, you get this. And if you simplify that further, s square plus 0.090, calculations are very important here. You have to do with calculator. Manually you cannot do it. By using calculator only you can do this. So therefore, if you simplify this, you will get this function. So simply after multiplying, just s square, that you can understand that it is a fourth order filter. We got n is equal to 4 here, fourth order filter. Now, so we got the denominator polynomial. To get the numerator, because see, transfer function means what? So numerator and denominator. So numerator polynomial, we got it from that, and denominator polynomial. To calculate the denominator polynomial, the formula, there is a formula is there to calculate the denominator, because we need numerator and denominator polynomial. Okay, numerator and denominator polynomial. So therefore, if the order is even, because now 4 means in our problem we got n is equal to 4. So as it is even, numerator polynomial you can write like this. The numerator polynomial 0.4165 into 0.118. So from where these numbers came? Okay. So you may have some doubt from where these numbers you got it. So these are these two numbers. These constant numbers 0.4165 into 0.118. Actually these are some B0 quotients, B0 values. We are writing here, divided by under root 1 plus epsilon square. Just in that part we have calculated epsilon square, that epsilon is substitute that epsilon here. Okay. So therefore when n is even, so you have to calculate the numerator polynomial like this. Numerator polynomial of h of s is k is equal to, so k, how it looks like, see the filter characteristics or filter transfer function looks like this. H of s is equal to k divided by some s square s plus 1, something like this. Exactly it is not like this. Some, see 2s plus 1. Any other. See, now the order is 4. We need this one. We got from here. This is the denominator polynomial. So now we have to calculate this k. How to get that k? To get that k, you take the constants or last terms or B0 terms of the two factors, then you multiply it in the numerator and in the denominator 1 plus under root 1 plus epsilon square. That approximately you will get 0.04381. Once again I am repeating, calculations are very important. You have to use calculator, then you will get this. After that, okay, now we got everything, right? We got the numerator and denominator. Once after getting numerator and denominator, so just we can substitute that. See, now we need to derive the digital filter. Okay, digital filter transfer function. So how to find out the digital filter transfer function? H of z is equal to h of s. What is h of s? H of s is the analog filter transfer function at s is equal to 2 by t 1 minus z inverse by 1 plus z inverse. Okay, so this is the one. Now t is given in the problem, it is 1. Now what we have to do is, so h of s is, what is the numerator? Numerator is 0.04381 divided by s square plus 0.1814 s plus 0.4165 into s square plus 0.4378s plus 0.118. Okay, so this is your h of s. H of s. Now what to do is, wherever s is there, you substitute this 2 by t 1 minus z inverse by 1 plus z inverse. Wherever s, here s square is there, s is there, s square, s. So wherever s is there, so you substitute. See, s means what? 2 by t. 2 by t means 2 only, 1 because t is 1. 1 minus z inverse divided by 1 plus z inverse. If you substitute and simplify, and you will get this answer h of z. So this is the digital filter transfer function required for the given Chebyshev analog Chebyshev filter transfer function h of s. Okay. Now this is h of s. So wherever s is there, you substitute 2 into 1 minus z inverse by 1 plus z inverse. Then you simplify. The simplification means taking LCM and manipulating here and then you will get. So here the digital filter transfer function. Okay. So in this entire discussion we have seen designing of IIR filters using 3 methods. One is the impulse invariant method, approximation of derivatives method, finally bilinear transformation method. And there are 2 types of analog filters are there: Butterworth filter and Chebyshev filters. So the problems are, you will get however one 2 marks question and 1 10 marks question you will get from this Butterworth filters. So therefore and Chebyshev filter, either Butterworth or Chebyshev filter you will get it. So therefore you design, generally in the examinations you will get problems of such type and you practice it.